Today, guys, we're going through how to overcome or dissolve trauma. And I use the word dissolve very intentionally because that's that's what it is. That's what it takes. That's what it takes to overcome trauma or overcome what you perceive as trauma. So first things first, I want to obviously trigger warning for everyone and anyone. I mean no disrespect by anything I'm about to say. I've been through my own versions of trauma. I've had my own challenges, mental health, suicide in my family, suicide attempts, anxiety, depression, all the above. So I want to share with you what's really served me, what's really served my clients that I've worked with, using exactly what it is I'm about to share with you guys. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to serving you guys. So if you get some value from this, guys, leave some comments below. Let me know your thoughts. But yeah, I'm not going to be holding any punches. I'm going to be pretty much rocking and rolling. So I'm actually going to share my screen. So if you're not watching this, guys, I would have your screen on. And you're going to hopefully see me up in the corner. So first things first, actually, I'll probably bring that up. I'll explain it first and I'll bring that up. So essentially, guys, what trauma is, and again, trigger warning, guys, trauma, it's a spectrum, first of all, because a trauma could be something as catastrophic as being sexually abused, physically abused, psychologically, financially abused, pain, etc. It could be really, really, in quotations, fucked up stuff. Or it could be something as being the less favorited child or sibling, or it could be not making the sporting team that you wanted to make, or failing a test, or not getting into whatever you want to get into for a career. Trauma is a spectrum, and there's high levels of it and there's lower levels of it. So the spectrum is not a black or white thing. It's perspective, and it's on a spectrum of intensity. But what trauma is, and this can hurt to hear sometimes, especially if you're still healing through yours, is trauma is a perception. That's all it is. It's when you perceive something has high levels of negatives to it and no positives to it. And that is challenging to hear because first thing you might come to mind, well, you don't know what I've been through. I've been abused, I've been bullied, I've been beat up, I've been sexually assaulted, I've been XYZ. And I've dealt with clients and worked with clients who have been through that every single one of those things I just said. I've gone through every single one of those things. And then the best way to add a bit of perspective on top of this is whatever you've been through, Google the things you've been through and add on the end of that successful people. Because whatever you've been through, whatever you call traumatic, whatever you call your shit or your past or whatever you want to call it, someone and multiple people, if not dozens, if not hundreds of people, have been through the exact same thing and worse, and have achieved incredible things. Have not used it to hold them back, have used it to empower them to move forward. I like to use Oprah Winfrey. If you know who Oprah Winfrey is, comment below. I'm sure 99% of people do. If you don't know her story, she was born to a 14-year-old mother just to get started. Her parents were gone early in her childhood, so she had no parents there for her. She was sexually assaulted half a dozen times by family members and friends of the family, half a dozen times before the age of 14. She fell pregnant through one of those assaults and gave birth to a stillborn child at the age of 14. She was fired from her jobs for being black, for the color of her skin, which was a bigger issue back then. It's still an issue today, but it was a bigger issue back then. Her weight and so many other things. And my question is, did that hold her back? Did that stop her from becoming the fucking powerhouse she is, one of the most influential people in history? No. And I'm not saying, could she have gotten to where she was without going through that? Of course she could have. But would she have the passion and the drive and the purpose that she has today if she didn't go through that? I don't know. That's just a question, right? But what I would love to throw over to you guys is that everything in life is happening for a reason. Most people have heard that, right? Who's heard that everything's happening for a reason? Life's happening for you, not to you. Easy to say that. Sometimes it's harder to really embody that and actually apply that to your own life, because it's like, well, everything's happening for a reason. Well, tell me, what were the benefits of the assault or the abuse or the pain that you went through? What did it teach you? What were the lessons? How did it make you stronger? I had a client recently, actually. I had this conversation last week with one of my one-on-one clients that I work with. And we're going through, she had some abandonment issues that she was trying to work through. She had pain and trauma of being abandoned from her family. And I said, I won't use her name. I'm going to use the word Sarah. Her name's not Sarah. Sarah, what is one of your strongest traits in yourself for running your own business, being who you are today? What's one of the strongest traits of you? And we got to the answer, her independence, of her being a strong, independent woman. And I said, I'm curious, Sarah, where do you think that opportunity to be strong and to be independent, where do you think that's come from? It's from becoming abandoned. Because what happens when you're overparented? What's happened when you're babied through life? What happens when the bird is never given the opportunity to spread its wings? A butterfly, if you didn't know this, when a butterfly hatches from its cocoon, when the struggle and the fight that it goes through actually spreads the blood into the wings, which give it strength to be able to fly. They did this test where they would actually cut the cocoon for the butterfly so it could get out, but because it didn't have the struggle and the pain that it went through to get out, the blood didn't go to the wings properly, so it couldn't fly properly, so it actually died. So the pain that it went through gave it the strength it needed to live the life that it wanted to live. So whatever you've been through, I'm here to challenge you today, has actually served you and is shaping you and has shaped you into the man or woman that you are today, and has given you purpose and reason to be on this fucking planet. So I want to share a bit of science behind it just so it makes a little bit of sense. So hopefully you can see my screen. So in life, there's just as many positive charges as there are negatives. But when you go through life, if something is, quote, traumatic or painful or something you haven't let go of, something you haven't learned to heal through, it is because you see all negatives and no positives. And you will be balanced out. The world will balance you out. The world will always seek balance. Do you know people? Do you know anyone, guys, who goes through life going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down? They have really high highs and they have really low lows because they're unbalanced and then very volatile and they're swinging up and down, up and down, up and down. That's most people. The goal is to go from having those big emotional swings to learning how to go like this. Because are you ever going to live a life where you're completely balanced 24/7, 365 without having any emotional swings? Absolutely not. That's not how the world works. Everyone has ups and downs. I have down moments. I have up moments, of course. But who's had moments in the past where a bad moment turns into a bad day, into a bad week, into a bad month, into a bad year, and then it just becomes who you are because of something you've been through. Your parents left you, you were abused, you were bullied, you were beat up, whatever it was. What if that bullying you went through gave you strength and purpose to help other kids not go through the same thing? What if that pain that you went through or whatever it is that you went through is actually the gift the universe has presented to you to give you power and strength and purpose to go make something for yourself? So when it comes to trauma, guys, all it is, and I'm not going too deep on the science aspect of this. This is, I've done other videos on that. So whenever you're lopsided with your perspective, you either see more positive or negatives, you're not seeing the full picture. The key to mastering emotion is being able to see both sides. It's being able to see how is there just as many positives to this situation, this perception, as there are negatives. How do you do that? You need to ask quality questions. You need to go through and ask yourself, like for example, guys, my version of trauma, I was bullied a lot. I was very anxious. I was very socially awkward. So my social anxiety was really painful and I wasn't good in crowds. I wasn't good talking to people in social settings. However, it's made me fucking very good at having deep, meaningful, one-on-one conversations. It's something I'm really, really strong at. So a big negative gave me a big positive. A benefit gave me a negative gave me a benefit. So yes, I'm not applauding or saying I'm happy people go through fucked up things in life because like it does happen. And I'm not saying I'm wanting that to happen to other people, but if everything's happening for a reason, if that's the belief that you live with, and I believe that, even when it's hard, even when it's painful, I believe everything's happening for a reason. The key so you don't hold on to it and so you can actually dissolve and overcome the trauma is to go back to that trauma, relive it. Not relive it in the sense you want to go back and hold on to it, but you want to go assess it. You want to go put a different perspective on it. A great book. It's called Man's Search for Meaning. Dr. Viktor Frankl. He went through a concentration camp in World War II. His brother, father, mother, and partner were all killed in a concentration camp. He survived. He was one of the rare survivors through a concentration camp. Came through the other side with gratitude, meaning, purpose, because he assigned what that experience meant to him. Was that traumatic for some people? I guarantee it was. It was one of the most horrific fucking events in history. So how can one person come through there with gratitude, meaning, love, and appreciation? He decided what it meant to him. He decided the perspective he placed on that event. You have the exact same thing. Everything happens for a reason. Life is happening for you, not to you. Everything is on the way, not in the way. And until you get to that point, shit's going to hold you back. You're going to hold on to shit. You're not going to release from trauma. So the key to release from trauma to answer a question is, and for the people asking the questions on the video, I'm not going to answer all of them live. I'll go back and I'll answer them after the live, okay? So this is a timeline of your life. So say you're born here and this is your life. You'll have moments through your life where you will have, quote, traumas. You will have, I know, your parents having a fight, your parents having a divorce, someone calling you ugly, someone bullying you, X, Y. You'll have a certain amount of traumas. The goal is to knock over these little things, knock over these little traumas or knock over these little perceptions, because everyone you knock over, the quality of your life gets better and better and better. So, I didn't show my screen then. So, to release and to dissolve through that, you need to go back to the trauma and ask quality questions. How is this serving me? How has this served me? What have I gained from this? How has this made me stronger? How has this made me wiser? For people that are into my work, how has this served my top 3 values? How has this made me the man or woman that I'm proud to be today? What benefits, skills, experience, perspectives have I gained because of this? And that pendulum that you saw, the more positive answers and benefits you add to it, eventually you'll take it from being something that's negative, swung, to something that's neutral. And that's where you become grateful for it. I've had a lot of judgment in my life. I still do. I'm still working on myself. I'm still healing. I'm still balancing out my own shit, right? I'm just like every other human being. I've had a lot of judgment over my parents, my upbringing, my bullies, my country, my leaders in my country. I've had a lot of judgment. But being able to control my perspective and find benefits in everything and how everything is happening for me, not to me, has been liberating. It's allowed me to move on. It's allowed me to heal. It's allowed me to dissolve any fucking problem that I think I have. Because problems are just labels that you've given something. A breakup could make you stronger or fucking defeat you. It's your choice. Viktor Frankl had a choice, and he went through more than most people ever will. What's the difference? The difference is the perspective. The difference is the meaning that you've placed on the shit that you've been through. And the beautiful thing about being a human is that you can go back and rewrite those. You can go back to the things that you are still holding on to, the trauma, quotations trauma, the pain, the stuff you haven't healed through, and you can rewrite them. You can find the blessings. You can find how it served you. You can find how it's made you who you are by asking quality questions like the ones I've been asking. So I want to ask you some quality questions. I want you right now to think of something that you haven't let go of. And the definition of that is if you can't say you're grateful for it. Because again, judgment is a spectrum. You could say something is like traumatic, it's fucked you up, or you could just not like someone because they annoy you. Either way, there's judgment there. If you can't say you're grateful for something, then you're still judging it. So go to that moment and pick the more painful one, because that's where you'll get the most amount of growth from. So find the most painful moment you've been through. Abuse, trauma, being assaulted, whatever it may be, being bullied. getting taken advantage of, whatever it may be. And I want you to ask those fucking questions. What are the benefits to it? And when you say there aren't any, well, that's why it's traumatic, because you haven't found them. And you're living in a victim mindset. And that's hard to hear. And I said at the start of this video, I mean, no disrespect, because I've had this said to me and it challenged my beliefs, because I was a victim. I was blaming my upbringing. I was blaming my parents, my dad, my mum, my friends, my family. I was blaming. But when I decided to take responsibility and ownership for my life, my beliefs, and everything that I have in my life and everything I don't have in my life, was the moment I could do something about it. So I want you, practical exercise, write down anything, quote, traumatic or painful that you've been through that you can't say you're grateful for yet. And I want you to write it down, and I want you to ask these questions. Answer these questions. What are the benefits of this situation, or this person, or this event? How has this served me to this day? What lessons have I learned from this? What skills have I gained from this? What experience have I gained from this? What perspective would someone else look at this through and see a different picture to what I see? Because trauma, two people can go through the same event. One person is traumatized by it. One person is stronger because of it. It's just perspective. So when you can really just own that trauma is just a perspective, it can hurt to hear. And I mean no disrespect by that means, because someone said that to me and I almost slapped them across the face because I wasn't taking responsibility. I was blaming. I was being a victim. So once I could actually, you know what, you're right. And then I could start finding my own judgment, my own traumas, and asking those questions on myself. I could do my own work. I could heal myself. I could do my own inner healing. And it's fucking liberating, guys. It's fucking empowering when you can take that level of responsibility. So I hope this helped. I'm going to wrap this up now. What have you been through? How has it served you? How is it shaping you? And how is it shaping you into the man and woman that you want to be, to live the life that you want to live? Because I'll finish on this. Problems are just lessons in disguise. And you will repeat problems until you learn the lesson it's trying to teach you. Have you ever seen someone, or you might have been this person, you get into a relationship, it's a shit relationship, you get treated like shit, because you don't set boundaries for yourself, you don't love yourself, you don't have high levels of self-worth, you don't hold them accountable, you don't have tough conversations, the relationship ends. You get into another relationship, same shit happens. You're treated like shit, they take advantage of you, they cheat on you, they don't treat you with respect, you don't set boundaries, it ends, you get into another one, same shit. Because you're being presented with opportunities to solve that problem of not having high levels of self-worth, not setting boundaries for yourself, not having tough conversations, and you will continue to repeat those problems until you fucking learn it. And you will only be presented with problems that you're worthy of receiving, that you're ready to solve. I hope that's helped. Guys, if you got value from this, please like, comment, and subscribe. I love you all, and I'll see you guys on the next video.